Walmart is the world's largest grocery retailer. It's headquartered in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Right, so of course that means the biggest by physical stores, but remember it is pretty big online too, and recently bought a company called Jet.com in order to up its game. The share price, which we'll see in a minute, has shown an uptick thanks to a recognition that there is more success in their online model than previously thought.
And $240.3 billion in terms of market cap here because of its bricks and mortar positioning. It does have a PE, nearly 18, and a dividend yield of 2.6%. Let's look at that share price graph that you're talking about.
So that shift higher, so it didn't do well in 2015 where people thought it was a bit of a dinosaur and going backwards, but in 2016 it perked up a bit. 2017 though, the share price improvement has been, as I say, because the sense is that it's gotten its mix right and it's looking quite good.
Still got some way to go before it reaches the 2015 levels, Paul.
Yeah. Look, the interesting thing about them is, I was looking in preparation for the show, what do you think their biggest sellers are? It's not food.
I know, but you told me, you can't ask me that question and expect me not to be honest.
Well, carry on, tell
It's
him.
women's personal care items.
Right, which is hair care products, face care products, all sorts of stuff. Number two is women's apparel.
Women's apparel.
Which is fascinating. So that would be, you know, mom jeans, oversized t-shirts. We're talking about rural America now. In addition to that, what's very big at Walmart is electronics. Electronics and other sort of homeware stuff, like we saw on the list here. Plastic organizational space
I just love
management
those. I can't
stuff.
get enough of those plastic organizational space management tools.
So those are those things
boxes,
that you then
boxes with partitions.
and then you put them in your cupboard as well.
Fantastic.
And everything's labeled and organized.
Ask your wife about them. Right, so Walmart, thank you for the tutorial ahead of the
Well, it's interesting,
show.
isn't it? So it's not only a very big player in people's lives, it's reflective of people's consumption patterns. What you've got to like about retail too is that it's not as though you're going to lack for feedback on what people want. These businesses are all very aggressively operated using high technology tools which do the sourcing well from China and elsewhere where they manufacture stuff. They send stuff straight from the factories to the stores, and then they keep very, very close attention to what's selling.
I want to go,
and
that's the way that they manage to prevent themselves becoming
no, they're just
dinosaurs.
basically things that stop selling, they just stop selling them.
But let's go back to that earlier criticism. Walmart and the online trends, is it playing catch up? Is it going to survive? Is it nimble enough?
Well, I think it's showing that it can, in fact, adapt. And of course, the physical distribution centers and stores give them a ready-made advantage in terms of their ability for fulfillment online, because they can ship from all of their stores and from DCs. I think they will do fine. And so the stock looks interesting to me. I think they have a global reach.
Does it look interesting enough to buy into? Let me put it that way. Basically, let's get our share price graph back up.
Well, look, that acquisition of Jet.com was interesting because they basically bought this company for $3 billion because they wanted the CEO, a guy called Mark Law. The business is interesting though. Jet.com, which has now been fully integrated into Walmart, is a site that while you're busy shopping, the more that you add to your cart, your shopping trolley online, it starts lowering the prices. So that's pretty cool. If you add extra, you know, loo paper, it starts bringing your unit price down.
Sounds excellent.
Once your total cart has exceeded a certain dollar value, it starts bringing the prices down even more.
So instead of spending, you know, $200, you're going to land up spending $1,000.
Well, and then people start saying, "Oh, what else can I buy to get my total order up to $250?"
Average unit price
and then
down.
my prices will start coming down, and of course, free delivery.
Yeah, I'm prepared to buy Walmart just on the back of that purchase.
So I think
but we forgot to mention Massmart, the purchase and the connection to. You don't seem too enthused.
Massmart we're going to talk about later in its own right. But as far as Walmart's concerned, they've got quite a big business in the UK, quite a business in Mexico and China.
In other words, Massmart's totally irrelevant in their lives.
Absolutely. I mean, it's their benchmark and their bridgehead for Africa, but it's still at this point pretty unimportant. I'm going to go hot on this one. I think it's doing enough to demonstrate that it's going to be a survivor, for sure.